Hello everyone, welcome to Testbook Super Coaching. And today we are going to discuss some previous year question papers related to the retail banking and the wealth management. When it comes to retail banking, wealth management, paper like 2024 paper was very easy, not that difficult, like easy to moderate level was the difficulty scenario, was not that tough to answer. And this particular paper is very much close to the bank employees because you are working, you are experiencing this thing in your bank, and some common sense based questions are also there. If you are not able to read certain theoretical parts, still you will be able to answer few questions depending on your common sense. So that part we are going to see in this session. Near about 20 to 25 questions I am going to discuss in today's session. Of course, there will be more recording coming towards you regarding the previous year paper, so that you will get the proper idea about this particular paper. So I will start with the discussion. 20-25 questions in this recording. Okay, there will be more recordings where we'll discuss rest of the questions. So yes guys, before that, if you are yet to subscribe our channel, please एक बार channel भी subscribe कर दीजिएगा. So first question is in front of you. Which of the following is the formula for market capitalization? When it comes to market capitalization, so what is the valuation of the company in the market? We basically talked about what is the valuation of the company in the market. So how many shares that company is selling in the market, what is the valuation of that those particular shares? So we kind of multiply that. If suppose company is planning to sell more shares, so what will be the price in the market? So by multiplying all these factors, we'll get the market capital scenario. So answer of this question is the value of company's stock calculated by multiplying the stock price by the number of outstanding of equity shares. That is called as the market capital, or MCAP we usually call as. So we have these large cap companies, mid cap companies, small cap companies, large capital based company, mid capital based company, or small capital. So MCAP, this word is also sometimes used. The MCAP, M stands for market, cap stands for the capitalization of that particular company. So valuation of the company will be changing depending on the shares value. I'll go to the next question. What is the meaning of tactical management? If you'll read this, these options with common sense, even you can answer this question. Tactical management is the concept which is in front of you. Focus on long-term goals and strategic planning. Helps in achieving financial strategies by selecting the best alternative. Deals with the vision and mission of the organization, primarily handled by the top level management. Yes, answer of this question is B. Very easy. Helps in achieving financial strategies by selecting the best alternative. Tactical, by using some tactics so that we can achieve our goals as soon as possible by using various alternatives. That is a tactical management we have. So like I mentioned that you can answer this question depending on the common sense also, if you are not able to read this particular module properly. Now, when it comes to asset allocation management, tactical management and diversified management, this concept we normally follows. Asset allocation management, the asset allocation management is an investment advisory fully dedicated to managing investment portfolios. When it comes to tactical management, okay, obviously we talked about what are the financial goals we need to achieve, strategic financial things we need to achieve. For that we use different alternatives. And diversified management, where the clients in providing a flexible model which helps in meeting the need of the client. So we little bit diversify the risk, we'll try to diversify the income sources, and in that way the wealth management can be done, and that's the concept here. Next question. Regarding the TDS, tax deduction at source, not true. The question is not true. Many of the times, many of our officers who are giving these exams are facing troubles with this not wala question. तो थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे आप ध्यान रखिएगा, यहाँ पे गलती नहीं होनी चाहिए. It is very easy again. TDS was introduced to collect from a tax from the source of income. The deductor is responsible for remitting the deducted tax to the central government. The deductee receives credit of the deducted tax based on the Form 26A5 or TDS certificate issued by the deductor. TDS is applicable only to individuals and not to businesses. Answer of this question is yes. Not, the question was not true. So that's why answer of this question is this. TDS is not only applicable for the individuals, it can be used for the business purposes also, and that's the concept. Okay, I'll move forward to the next question. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the integrated business model? Integrated. If you know the meaning of this word, you can answer this question very easily, very comfortably. And that was asked in 2024. So it is not used by the small businesses. It aims to have separate business lines. It is used by big organization. It combines many socio-economic aspects and a cohesive approach. Yes, the answer of this question is the D. Combines the socio-economic aspects and cohesive approach. So integrated by including all the aspects, by including all the factors, by including all the I will say factors, sources, or required approach, and in that way this integrated model works. Yes, I'll go to the next question. Loans and advances monitoring is more than which account? This question was kind of a day-to-day working based question. Most of you might have experienced the different types of banking, like retail banking, the corporate clients. So depending on that, this question was framed in the last year's exam. So again, those who experience, those who still not yet to experience this kind of diversification in the bank, but still you can answer. Now, in every bank, we have the corporate clients, we have the retail clients, but the number of retail clients are more than the corporate clients, but obvious, this is the, we have the ratio. So while handling the accounts of retail clients become very huge and hectic job, you required huge amount of labor. So yes, retail clients or retail accounts required more laborious approach than the corporate. I am saying comparing, and just comparing based question was asked. Obviously, every type of account having its merits, its demerits, its tactics, or its difficulty, but in comparison, the retail clients are more, and that's why requires more efforts to solve or to handle those clients. Yeah, I'll go to the next question. Which of the following will not result in increasing profitability? Not result in increasing profitability. That is a question over here. So profitability of the bank's branch, that is a point which is always discussed. Profitability of the bank, that approach is always discussed. So again, the question is regarding the not. Cost cutting at the expense of the customer satisfaction, focusing on reducing NPA, enhancing customer relationship, enhancing non-interest income. Obviously, we are not going to compromise this. Never. Okay. Of course, compromising customer satisfaction is not the part which we want. People are actually doing sometimes that also, but it should not be. Okay. And it is ideally, you can't just reduce the expenses in the expense of the customer satisfaction. So you can't do that. Okay. So that is a factor. Rest of the things are there. Of course, NPA, non-performing asset reduction, is the most important focus to increase the profitability. Then there are some other ways to increase the income of the bank by cross-selling few products like bank assurance, mutual funds, and other things. So that is the other factors. I'll go to the next question. Again, which of the following statements are not correct about SBU? Strategic business units. We are talking about strategic business unit. So not correct. An SBU can be a business unit of a large corporation. SBU on product offering and market segment. SBUs are autonomous divisions, and an SBU can be business unit of a small business. Strategic business unit. Look here, if your organization is very huge, very big, so strategically you will create some departments who can handle some important tasks, some important things, and for that reason we have this strategic business unit. So yes, not correct. So last statement, D statement, is not correct. Rest of the statements are absolutely correct. Strategic business unit. So yes, D is the answer of this question. So we want a long-term performance. We want, because the organization is very big, and in that big organization we want some strategically thinkers, strategically focusing thinkers, and that time we can create the SBUs. So yes, answer of this question was D. Which Indian bank launched the first credit card in India? This is a question I guess you prepared for this during your normal bank exams. Normal bank exams also, many students are reading these kind of concepts, a kind of a static concepts. Obviously, everyone knows Citibank, they introduced the first credit card in our country. So very easy question. Next question was also very easy. Which of the following are the benefits of digital banking? Which of the following are the benefits of digital banking? Again, a very, very easy. these kind of questions asked during the bank entrance or the these IBPS exams. 24/7 availability, instant transactions, financial inclusion of the unbanked, reduce the cost of the banks. Of course, all the factors, all the pointers are correct regarding this question. So no discussion required. I will go to the next question. Which of the following bank uses horizontally organized model? Horizontal and vertical types of models which we normally discuss. So the question is, which of the following bank uses horizontally organized models? Public sector banks, private sector banks, foreign banks, none of the above. The answer of this question is public sector bank. Now we'll talk about this. Okay, when we talked about these models, horizontal organized model is a modular structure using different process models for different products, offering different end-to-end solution product wise. Okay, we have multiple products: car loan, home loan. Under home loan we have multiple varieties, under car loan we have multiple varieties. So horizontal models, because we have different products, different types of services you are offering, so required different approach also. That is the case. Okay, now vertical organized models provides functionally across products with customers data based orientation, and centralized customer database is used across all the products. So when it comes to vertical, mostly this profit mindset organizations, they are working with this vertical. So centralized data, like if we talk about the private banks, you will always get the calls for different products from the same bank. Okay, and they're having same approach of selling their products. Sir, ye bhi le lo, chalo ye nahi lena to ye le lo, chalo wo nahi lena to wo. So there's a vertical approach they have. When it comes to these public sector banks, they are also involved with the social banking, and that's why this horizontal model we can usually see over here. Okay, chalo, I will go to the next. In which year did the government of India decide to nationalize 14 banks under Banking Regulation Act? Again, very simple. Obviously, 1969, 14 banks, and then 6 more banks in 1980. So we all know about the nationalization process which was taken place. So when we read about the Indian banking system, we have this phase 1, the early phase, when we created the first bank in India, the Bank of Hindustan, then the nationalization phase 69 to 91, and then liberalization phase, then 91 till date. So in that way, usually you obviously IBPS exam देते हो तो आपने history of Indian banking पढ़ा होगा, evolution of Indian banking पढ़ा होगा, उसी का ये part है. Which of the following is correctly matched regarding the income bracket of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana? This is one of the difficult question, because you should know about the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. If you worked with this scheme, if you work for this scheme, definitely you will be having the understanding of this. EWS, LIG, MIG, sorry. Yes, answer of this question is 1 and 2. So EWS up to 3 lakhs, MIG up to 3 to 6 lakhs. When it comes to MIG, okay, so we'll talk about that. So we have these categories over here. So beneficiaries की. So जब हम बात करते हैं कि regarding these different type of factors, so 6 to 12 lakhs is the concept which we have. 6 to 12 lakhs. Okay, so 4% is the rate of interest. Up to 3 lakhs, 6.5% interest subsidy. Sorry, interest subsidy. यहाँ पे again 6.5% interest subsidy. यहाँ पे 4% interest subsidy. And 12 lakh to 18 lakh is there. Then 3% interest subsidy. So in that way we have the categories with us. Okay. Again, the carpet area is also mentioned: 30 square meters, 60 square meters, 120 square meters, and 150 square meters. So obviously differentiation will be also there. Maximum loan amount eligible for subsidy is 6 lakhs. Here is the 9 lakh, and here is a 12 lakh. That is another major concept. Which of the following are the account associated with the least cost? Current and savings, FD, RD, current, FD and savings. Least cost for the bank. Answer of this is, of course, CASA accounts. CASA accounts require the least maintenance and the least costing. Okay, FD and RD, of course, interest rates are also more, so costing will be automatically is going to get increased. In case of term deposit, above how much can the amount must be paid using the account pay check. ये आप लोगों ने एक्सपीरियंस किया भी होगा, तो ज्यादा बताने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. The case of term deposit, above how much can the amount must be paid using account pay check. So 20,000 and above, it should be through the check. Okay, and that is a factor which we have. So we all know under the Income Tax Act 1961 amended, the aggregate amount of all deposits repayable after noticing repayable after period, okay, together with the interest to be paid is rupees 20,000 or more, the repayment should be made by the account payee banker's check, which we all know about. Okay, आगे बढ़ते. Which of the following statement regarding term deposit is correct? टर्म डिपॉजिट के बारे में कौन सा स्टेटमेंट यहां पे करेक्ट है? क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था. प्रीमैच्योर विड्रॉल फैसिलिटीज अवेलेबल फॉर अ डिपॉजिट विथ मोर देन 5 crore. Interest on mature deposit is higher of saving of term deposit. Maturity or tenure is max 120 months. In cumulative FD, interest is not reinvested. Which statement is correct? Answer is, of course, maturity or tenure is max for 120 months. Rest of the statements are wrong. We'll discuss about that. The minimum period, at present, minimum period is of 7 days. Deposit amount up to 15 lakh. Above a minimum 15 days for amount less than 15 lakh. Okay. So in that way, we have this concept. Okay. So remember that. यहाँ पे कोई गड़बड़ नहीं होनी चाहिए. So deposit amount of 15 lakhs 7 days, okay, and 15 days for the amount less than 15 lakhs for 15 days. That is a concept which is mentioned again for different banks, that can be there. The maximum period, bank accept deposit for a period of not exceeding 120 months, where a deposit is offered for a period over the 12 months. Effort should be made to accept deposit periods multiples of 3 months, like 3 months के multiples में रहे तो आपके लिए better होगा. In some cases it can be extended. Okay, the period of deposit should not exceed 20 years. Okay, that is also mentioned, but of course, case by case, things can be changed. In special situation, the things can be changed. If special policy will be created by the bank, things can be changed. But otherwise, if we talk generally, so generally, this is the important factor we have. Which of the following is considered a willful default due to divergent funds? Willful default due to divergent funds. There is a question in front of you. Use of short-term working capital funds for the long-term purposes, diverting borrowed funds for activities different from the loan's original purposes, unauthorized transfer of funds to subsidiaries, all of the above. Answer is all of the above. Okay, willful defaulters, one of the biggest example is Vijay Mallya. So willful defaulters are very common in Indian banking sector. So use of short-term working capital fund for long-term purposes, diverting borrowed funds for activities different from the loan's originally purpose is a very common thing. Unauthorized transfer of funds to the subsidiaries, again when it comes to businesses, this is a very common thing. I gave the example of Vijay Mallya, he also did the same thing. So answer is D, all of the above. Which of the following statement is not true regarding RTGS, real-time gross settlement? Which statement is not true? There is a cap on charges determined by RBI. RTGS has no minimum maximum limits. RTGS is only available within banking hours. Which statements are not correct? 2 and 3. Okay. Yes, there is a cap on charges determined by the RBI. No maximum, no minimum limit. Okay. And last statement is also wrong because 365 days is available. Now, when it comes to this, RBI is responsible for this RTGS real-time gross settlement when we talked about. Okay, the range of fund 2 lakhs to any amount. So minimum 2 lakh, maximum there is no limit, but minimum there is a limit we have. And yes, charges will be implemented and 365 days is available right now, 24/7. So that is a wrong statement. RBI deregulated interest rates in 2011. Which of the following are correct? RBI deregulated the interest rate in 11. So which of the following statement is correct? Banks can give differential interest rates on the balance. Banks must give uniform interest rate till 50,000. The rates shall be subject to negotiation between depositors and the banks. There is no comprehensive policy on interest rates on the deposit. Answer is banks can give differential interest rates on balances. Yes, differential interest rate concept is there. So under that we can use. In 2011 we created this deregulation, so we need to have a proper policy for working on this. So yes, answer of this question is A. Which of the following is incorrect regarding VCIP? VCIP, which statement is incorrect? Again, printed copy of EPAN, customer due diligence, GPS stamp, audit trails is not necessary. Incorrect. Answer is audit trail is not necessary. Absolutely wrong statement. Okay. When we talked about this CIP, the customer identification process. So under we have this income tax rule of 1962. RBI also issues the guidelines regarding that. Aadhaar number is issued, unique identification. Okay, that is also used. So in 2017, under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, we made few changes, and those changes were asked in the exam. So again, kind of a crucial. Which of the following is a CIC recognized by RBI? Answer is CRIF. Okay. So Credit Information Company. So presently 4 CICs: TransUnion CIBIL, Equifax Credit Information Service Private Limited, then Experience Credit Information Company Private Limited, and Credit Information Companies of India. Okay, so in that way we have this authority. Okay, so CRF, High Mark Credit Information Private Limited, okay, granted certificate recently. So this was the information regarding that. The 4 companies are already mentioned here. Match the following with respect to Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Maslow is a very famous thinker. In the management, we usually study Maslow when it comes to these. The need theory is very, very famous. So core saving account, psychological needs, home improvement loan, esteem needs, retirement solution, psychological needs. Now, I will discuss this. Okay. There is something called psychological. Okay, then we talked about these the needs regarding the security. So I will discuss over here the physiological needs. When we talk about the physiological needs, they're the basic needs. They're the basic needs. So when it comes to banking sector, physiological needs are the core saving accounts, personal accident, housing loans. Okay, then security safety needs की बात करेंगे तो then FD, RD, life insurance, tax plannings. When we talked about the social needs, then consumer loan, personal loan, home loan, car loan. Okay, esteem needs. Esteem means you need to maintain your status and etc. So in that time, a special term deposit, term insurance plan. Okay, second house if you want to buy. Then self-actualization. Mostly you will see after the retirement or for the retirement purposes. Then pension loans, retirement solutions, senior citizen term deposits. So in that way. So Maslow, when give the hierarchy, so physiological, then security, social, then esteem, and the self-actualization. This is the pyramid, and depending on that pyramid, many factors are discussed. Not only in the banking sector, in every sector we can see this Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They are really very crucial. Which of the following guidelines regarding the recovery agents are correct? Recovery agents. So guidelines are correct. There is a question in front of you. Banks must have due diligence process for engaging recovery agents, including verification of their antecedents. Banks are not required to inform borrowers about the details of recovery agents. Recovery agents can operate without any identification of authorization letters from the bank. Banks should not conduct re-verification of antecedents of recovery agents after the initial verification. Yes, answer of this question again is kind of a common sense based on bank must have due diligence process engaging recovery agents, including verification of their antecedents. So everything should be properly verified, because so many times the cases are filing again due to the recovery agents and banks are suffering because of that. So yes, this due diligence is really very much important. AI term given by, very easy question. Artificial intelligence is very much in news. So that's why they asked this question in 2024. So answer is John McCarthy, US based, Stanford University based, the expert from America, and he's called as the father of artificial intelligence, John McCarthy. What is the range of credit score values? Again, very easy. We'll talk about the CIBIL score, 300 to 900. We all know about 3 to 550 is poor, 550 to 65 average, 65 to 75 good, 750 to 900 is called as the excellent score. So yes, that's the factor over here. So all CICs, all credit information companies are following these factors. What is the relation between the bank and the depositor? Bank and the depositor. Yes, debtor and creditor. Yes, absolutely right. So very easy. Depositors are giving money to the banks, and banks are going to use that money for their business and going to return the money with interest rates. What is the minimum period of the term deposit? Just few questions back we discussed about this. Yes, answer is the 7 days. Like I already mentioned, deposit amount of 15 lakhs and above. Okay, 7 days. Minimum 15 days for amount less than 15 lakhs. So less than 15 lakhs, 15 days. Then 7 days for 15 lakhs and above, and that is the concept we have. Yes, guys, that's all from my side for the day. I will discuss more questions with you. They're very easy question. Like almost all the questions were very easy. Hardly 1 or 2 questions were kind of a moderate type. So I'll discuss more questions of previous year, and once other papers will be done, I will start with the proper test series or the some mock questions on the YouTube channel. Till that time, bye bye. Take care.